In the heart of Los Angeles, billionaire Ethan Cole lived a life most people could only dream of. His mansion stretched across the Hollywood Hills. His cars were worth more than most people's homes, and his name often appeared in glossy magazines. Yet despite the wealth, Ethan felt empty. Behind the expensive suits and the glamorous parties was a man who had lost faith in love. Every woman he dated seemed to be drawn to his money, not his heart. After his last girlfriend left him the moment his company hit a temporary financial dip, Ethan became cynical. He told himself that true love didn't exist, at least not for someone like him. But then came Mia Thompson, a soft-spoken, hard-working maid who had recently joined his household staff. She wasn't like anyone he had ever met before. She smiled even when tired, cared for everyone without expecting anything, and spoke to him with a sincerity he hadn't felt in years. One morning, while watching Mia quietly clean the massive living room, Ethan got an idea, one that was as risky as it was revealing. What if he pretended to be paralyzed? If Mia truly cared for him, she would stay. If not, she'd leave like everyone else. It would be the ultimate test of love and loyalty. The next day, news spread through the house that Mr. Cole had been in a terrible car accident. His luxury sports car had crashed, and though he survived, he was now paralyzed from the waist down. The household staff reacted with shock and sympathy, but one by one, most of them resigned within a week, unwilling to care for a man who could no longer move. All except Mia. She refused to leave. "He needs help more than ever," she told the others. She took charge of his meals, his therapy schedule, even reading to him at night when insomnia struck. Ethan, sitting in his wheelchair, secretly watched her kindness unfold day after day. She never once complained, even when he acted cold or distant to push her away. Instead, she'd smile and say softly, "You'll walk again someday, Mr. Cole. You just have to believe." Her faith in him, even though he didn't deserve it, began to break down his emotional walls. He found himself looking forward to her presence, the sound of her laughter echoing through the hallways, the way she hummed while cooking, the calm strength in her eyes. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Ethan asked, "Mia, why do you stay? You could find an easier job." She smiled faintly. "Because people need people, sir. You've helped so many. Now it's my turn." Her words pierced him like truth itself. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something real, something that money couldn't buy. Sitting there in silence, he realized that maybe, just maybe, this woman who came into his life as a maid might be the one to teach him what love truly means. Weeks passed, and Ethan's paralysis charade grew heavier with every sunrise. At first, it had seemed like a clever idea, a simple way to test Mia's loyalty. But now, as he watched her tirelessly care for him, guilt began to consume him like a shadow that refused to leave. Mia became his world in those quiet days. She woke up early to prepare his breakfast, gently adjusting his blanket, as if he were truly fragile. She encouraged him to try physical therapy, even though Ethan didn't need it. Her voice was always soft yet strong, filled with hope. "You'll walk again someday," she would say with conviction that made his heart ache. Ethan found himself looking forward to her company. They talked for hours, about her childhood in a small town in Oregon, about his love for old jazz music, and sometimes about dreams. She dreamed of going to nursing school one day, though she doubted she could afford it. He wanted to tell her that he could make it happen in an instant, but that would break the illusion. Every word, every smile from her made his lie feel more poisonous. One night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The guilt was unbearable. He wheeled himself to the hallway and stopped when he heard Mia's voice coming from the kitchen. She was talking to herself, unaware that he was listening. "I just wish I could take his pain away," she whispered, tears in her voice. "He's lost so much already, but he still tries to smile." Ethan's chest tightened. She truly believed in his suffering, believed in him. It was no longer just an act to her. It was real compassion, pure and selfless. He wanted to run to her, tell her everything, beg for forgiveness. But how could he? What if she walked away? What if she never trusted him again? The next morning, Ethan decided to end it. He couldn't carry this lie any longer. But when he saw her face, tired yet bright with care, he hesitated. As he tried to form the words, his voice broke. "Mia, there's something I—" She interrupted, her eyes wide with concern. "You're giving up, aren't you?" she said softly, misunderstanding his hesitation. "Please don't lose hope. I'm here for you." And then, before he could respond, she wrapped her arms around him. Her warmth, her sincerity, it made him feel more paralyzed than any fake injury ever could. He slowly raised his hand, wanting to return the hug, but stopped. If he moved too naturally, the truth would come out. So he just sat there, frozen in guilt and heartbreak. In that embrace, Ethan realized something he hadn't planned for. He had fallen deeply, genuinely in love with her. This wasn't about a test anymore. It was about the woman who had seen him not as a billionaire or a patient, but as a man who needed love. And for the first time in his life, Ethan wished the lie were true, because at least then he might deserve her compassion. The morning sunlight spilled through the tall windows of Ethan's mansion, illuminating the room where lies had lingered too long. Ethan sat in his wheelchair, staring at his reflection in the glass. The man looking back at him wasn't proud, powerful, or wealthy. He was ashamed. The guilt of deceiving Mia had become unbearable. Her kindness, her patience, her faith, she gave them all freely, while he repaid her with deceit. That day, he made his choice. It was time to tell her everything. Mia entered the room with her usual gentle smile, holding a tray of breakfast. "Good morning, Mr. Cole. Did you sleep well?" Ethan took a deep breath. "Mia, I need to tell you something important." Her smile faded, replaced by concern. "Are you okay? Did the doctor say something?" He shook his head slowly. "No, it's not about my health. It's about everything." He looked down, then back at her. "I'm not paralyzed. I never was." For a moment, silence filled the air, thick, heavy, and painful. The tray slipped slightly from her hands, and she caught it before it fell. What are you saying?" she whispered. "I pretended," Ethan confessed, his voice trembling. "I wanted to see if someone could love me without money, without the image of being a billionaire. After my last relationship, I couldn't trust anyone. I wanted to test if you were different. And you were. But instead of feeling relief, I feel guilt. You gave me nothing but honesty and love, and I gave you lies." Mia stood frozen, disbelief written across her face. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "So everything, all the pain, the therapy, the tears, was fake?" Ethan nodded slowly. "Yes, but my feelings for you aren't. Somewhere along the way I stopped pretending. I fell in love with you, Mia. You showed me what real love looks like." Tears rolled down her cheeks, but her voice was calm. "Love doesn't need to be tested, Ethan. It needs to be trusted. You didn't need to pretend to be broken for me to care." Her words hit him harder than any rejection could. Ethan lowered his head, ashamed. "You're right. I was foolish. But if there's any way I can make this right, I'll spend the rest of my life trying." For a long moment, Mia said nothing. Then she placed her hand gently on his. "I don't know if I can forgive you right now, but I believe you're telling the truth." She smiled faintly through her tears. "Maybe love deserves a second chance, just without the lies." Months later, Ethan and Mia married in a small garden behind the mansion. There were no reporters, no luxury cars, no grand gestures, just the sound of laughter, the scent of flowers, and two hearts healed by honesty.